Hello.
Hey, good evening, Leigh.
Hello?
Big Perm. We got you live. How are you, man?
Hey, how are ya? I just got a new phone. I was there fucking around trying to figure out how to answer the thing.
Well, that's what I was just telling my co-host Vic. I was like, well, he just got a new phone, so maybe that's what he's doing, is figuring it out. Is it one of them new smartphones, or do you got a dumb phone?
Oh, no, it's a smartphone, I guess you could call it.
I just, as dumb as I am, I keep a simple flip phone. That's about all I need, man. All that new fandangled stuff got me all screwed up.
Right on. So how's things?
Oh, well, man, how about yourself? How you feeling? I know you've been under the weather lately.
Oh, yeah, she's been a rough one there. I'm just starting to get my voice back. I don't think I could have did this Friday, but
well, thank God we do
starting to get her back now. Yeah, right on.
Well, before we get rolling, Leigh, I want to introduce you to my co-host. His name's Vic Nasty. You over there, Vic?
Oh, yeah. Hey, how's it going, brother?
Hey, how are you, Vic?
Good, man. It's great to have you on, man. We've been waiting for you.
Yeah, right on. I'm glad to be here.
Well, Leigh, I tell you, I know a few months ago I had shot a message off to you on Facebook and figured out, heck, I'm not probably never hear from the guy. And out of left field, you send me a message and was like, sure, man, love to join the show. When you want to do this? And blew me away. And I was thinking, man, all right. I started doing some research, and I found out all kinds of interesting stuff about you, man, that I never knew about. You got a cat.
Oh, right on. Thanks. Yeah, I got some pretty good life experiences, I guess you could say.
Oh, yes, my man. Well, tonight, one of the first things we wanted to talk to you about, of course, is the new documentary you got coming here soon, Trippin With Leigh. And I've been, ever since SwearNet launched, I've been, a member of that site and, watched the movie and following along, and really excited to see this thing, man. When are we going to see it, brother?
Well, I went in there to start working actually in about a month ago in SwearNet, so it got to the point where I went through all the footage, the raw footage, and I did up some markers and stuff, they call them, so just what I thought was important through the footage. And they brought in an editor there from New Brunswick, so he started last week, so I'm excited. I've only got to meet him a couple times because I've been sick, so I'm headed back in tomorrow to sit with him, and we're going to start hashing out some ideas. And hopefully soon. So it's finally starting to come together after 5 years.
No shit, man, but it's an awesome. I love the premise behind it, man. Here in the States, growing up as a kid, it's probably a little different up north. But down here, growing through grade school, we had, Nancy Reagan and Ronald Reagan with their Just Say No, and then we got the DARE program teaching about the dangers of marijuana and all this other stuff. And as I've grown older, I realized that, man, a lot of that stuff was kind of myth or fallacy. And with
a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, bro. And that's what I like about this documentary is it's, you're trying to, from what I gather, trying to give a more, objective view of these different, hallucinogens and medicines that people around the world have been using for fucking years.
Oh, yeah, thousands of years, some tens of thousands. Yeah, it's like, I used to be, I guess, growing up, looked at as a pothead and an acid head and a tripper and stuff. But, now that it's kind of evolved, the whole concept, now I'm like more of a spiritual guru and advocate of natural medicines. It's great.
For sure, man, and especially, with the prescription pill problem that, seems to be running rampant here. It's just like, wow. But now I understand, when you really get to digging into the why, there's a lot of money involved, and that's I think that's a big thing to do with it.
For sure. It's like pills for profit, eh? So, and when something's been scorned upon for so long, and I guess I'll call it Western society. It's just hard to break people's thought processes on the whole thing, and that's what I'm trying to do with this documentary, is to shed light on some of these very old ancient medicines that people have been using for thousands of years for everything from cancers to just connecting spiritually with themselves and each other. So yeah, it's been a fascinating journey, and I've discovered a lot as well over the last lifetime, but more so since I started looking into all this stuff like 5 years ago. So it's been a very interesting thing to happen to me as well. So, and just talking to fans and stuff. Huh?
I said that's what life's about, brother. The experiences.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, Vic Nasty, let me throw it over to you, bud.
Leigh, I've been watching you for years now, whether it be your documentary or on the Trailer Park Boys, but I noticed what a connection you have with your family and your mother, and the support that your mother showed you. When you're going through this journey, what's that meant to you to have the backing of your family like that?
Oh, it's great, So yeah, of course, it's always good, and my family's always had my back, so they're very supportive. At first, some of my family was, they didn't understand why I was doing this or the whole purpose of it, but I think they've got a better grasp on it now, and I think once they see the first Peru trip, they'll understand even more why I'm doing it.
Right.
And just the impact that this is going to have on, hopefully, that's what I'm trying to do, is lift the veil on this stuff. So I think people will be able to watch this documentary and see the impact that some of these things have on people, and the benefits involved and the benefits connected to doing this type of stuff.
Definitely.
So I think it's important.
Another thing that got me, Leigh, is that, the video that you did, the Kickstarter video, the GoFundMe video, for your documentary is, you and your mother going down this back road, you're smoking salvia, and that's one of the best scenes, that I've seen in a video in a long time, that, she's supporting you and she wants to make sure you're safe and going through this all right.
Yeah, designated pipe stuffer.
There you go. Everybody needs one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then, I kind of bring in Western point of view on everything. So, of course, when I went to Peru, I did have my party time and stuff, but you'll be able to see that as well in the documentary, where I go from a party point of view to the spiritual side.
Right.
And just how I kind of grasp a whole different concept of what I'm doing. It's kind of neat to see, I thought. So I'm looking forward to it.
Since Vic mentioned the crowdfunding campaign you guys started a while back, has it surprised you at all, the response that you got from the folks, from the people, from the fans?
Yeah, it's great. And I try to keep up and talk to as many fans as possible, because, of course, without them, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. And just there's so many cool people to talk to. I love to be able to open up to fans and stuff. So, and yeah, the feedback and the backing's been great. And I look forward to doing more.
Absolutely, man.
And
yeah, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, yeah, I owe it to the fans for sure. That, like I say, a lot of them are great. I talked to quite a few of them online and stuff, and
Leigh, what I've really found, I was just talking to my girlfriend. We saw Randy and Leahy, John and Pat, last Sunday. They were a couple hours away from us in Danville, Illinois, and they put on a great show, of course. But what I really have found with you guys and the whole cast, not just you, but the whole cast of the show, with this worldwide popularity, all of you guys are still just down-to-earth, regular people, man. And I think that's what I really love about you and the cast is just you're so willing to talk to the fans and you're easily accessible. And I think that's what endears a lot of fans to you guys, man. And that's fucking awesome. You don't see that much these days.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think that's important too, to just not let fame or whatever you want to call it change you as a person and as a human being. You still have to keep that connection with everyone. I think it's important for sure, and
Absolutely.
That's something I'll always hold dear, and the fact that I'm real and I'm very transparent. And if a fan or if someone asks me something, I'm very honest in giving an answer. So,
oh yeah, I gotta love that, man. So we got Trippin With Leigh coming here sometime in the future. There was something else that you got new. We'll get back to some trips and talking that, but you got this new YouTube series coming up. I wanted to know if you could share a little bit with us about that.
Yeah, well, I talked to a gentleman from the States there, and he suggested we start working together on some things. So, yeah, and I think it's important because of all the research that's being done with medical marijuana and stuff, it's important to be an advocate of that as well. And, that's something I never really dwelled into, so a lot of it's going to be new for me. So it's going to be exciting. I'm basically going to be reviewing new technology like vaporizers, atomizers, different strains. I hope to come out with my own, actually, at some point, which would be really cool.
Hell yes.
Yeah, we'll call it Trippin With Leigh Dreams or something.
Fuck, dude, I'm going to have to come up north and get me a sample.
Yeah.
Some of that Leigh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have, I'm excited about that, and I hope to get out and this summer as well and do some traveling and hit up some events and some of these conventions they have based around that. So,
and that was another question I was going to ask you, Leigh. With John and Pat just coming through Illinois, and in May, Caveman Sam, he's going to be coming through Illinois. When are we going to see you in Illinois, man?
I'm working on it. I threw the idea out there, and at this point, I'm not sure of all. I'll probably. I'm kind of caught between. Will I go? I'll probably go as myself.
Okay.
So I got my Trailer Park Boys persona, and then I have Leigh, right? So I'm still kind of caught between. So, but yeah, I definitely want to go and bring some comedy to it, and just talk about probably life experiences and things that I've done in the past, and so at this point, it's a matter of figuring out what what the show would contain.
Content, sure.
Yeah, content. So, but yeah, it's definitely something I want to do in the near future.
Well, I tell you what,
do
man,
a live show.
I'll be front row. Just keep me informed, and you can count on me being there, man.
Yeah, right on. Yeah,
well, let me
I'll be keeping updates and stuff.
Sweet.
Probably
in.
Okay.
Leigh, you've been in music, you've been entertaining people, since you were a kid. What was it like for you, coming on to season 8 of the Trailer Park Boys, and what was the response, from the fans and everything?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal at first because I never experienced really,
right?
And because it was a popular, iconic show, yeah, I mean, I was into the music scene for quite a few years, but it's a completely different kind of entity, really, I found. So to come on to a show like that, it's something else, really. And it was kind of a first experience for me as well. So I kind of knew I wanted to be a part of the show, and I knew they were getting the rights back for it. And I threw that out there, and it was just a matter of how I would be presented on the show, I guess. And I think I really like being a part of the show for sure. And it's definitely changed me in ways as a person. I've opened up more. And I'll never forget the first time when season 8 launched. I think that was on September 5th, I believe. And I was at a concert at the Aerosmith and Slash concert in Cape Breton that year. And so I was just sitting in the VIP or whatever, and I could hear, I thought people were hollering to my friend John. So I kept looking back. And then before I knew it, I looked back, and there was like 150 people behind me. They were like, Don, 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 Don. It was pretty cool. So I got up and I went back and I talked to them and shook some hands. And I was like, wow, this, it was kind of surreal. I just never experienced that before.
Yeah, then in season 9, you transitioned to playing, a dual role when you played Donna. What was it like, playing a woman?
Oh, man, well, it's not easy. I have a newfound, respect for women and their dress attire. At one point I was getting around on these fucking high heels, and it was like walking on lawn dirt.
Damn it.
Sink right into the ground. Yeah. But, and then I wasn't sure really where I would go. At that point I hadn't developed the character.
Right.
So everyone on the show, and Jonathan Torrance, he helped me a lot in developing that character. So
that's what I wanted to ask.
He directed quite a few of my scenes.
When it comes to Donald or Donna, your character on the Trailer Park Boys, is a lot of the development of the character left up to you, with the help of the writers a little bit?
Yeah, I mean the development or the concept itself was something I was working on before season 8, and I pitched that idea and they liked it, and wrote it into the show. But they definitely helped develop the image of the characters.
Right.
So Dawn dressed in the 70s attire and the kind of a spiritual guru, even though I'm spiritual myself. So I think, of course, Dawn would be more of a representation of me as opposed to Donna. But I think they both bring something very unique to the show.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'd like to see Dawn resurface at some point.
Well, and as I was researching the show, researching your interview, I was reading through a bunch of different Reddit forums, and two big questions that popped up in almost every one of these forums that I went through. The first is Donna dressed as Dawn, or is Donna, dressed as Dawn? You feel me? Who's the real person?
Yeah. So the original, the whole concept of Donna is Dawn doesn't know he's Donna. Donna doesn't know she's Dawn. So it's a split personality disorder. It's not a transgender issue. Right. A lot of people get that mixed up. Is Dawn's not actually transgendered. He has a mental disorder so he doesn't know he's Donna, which I think adds to the hilarity.
Just don't care.
Yeah, old Randy, fucking cheeseburger walrus. He's a great fella.
Oh, most definitely. I just when I was getting ready to go to that show last Sunday, I was watching some of John Dunsworth's clips on YouTube, and I ran across this show called The Lot that I'd never heard of, where I was just like, wow, yeah, those guys are fucking hilarious. But, I mean, obviously, you're going to be in the new season coming out March 28th. You know, you're in season 10. Now, season 11, they're talking about Europe. And I know there was, up there in Canada, there was a pretty big deal with the government and their funding and these, I can't remember what they called it, man. I'm a Yankee from the States. But the funding that the government gives out to filmmakers and people in the arts was cut quite a bit. Was there ever, you know, when that happened, was there ever, you know, like a threat to that, you know, show itself possibly like ending?
Well, I don't know so much as ending, but it did affect the entire industry here. So, I mean, it will affect. I don't think it'll affect so much Trailer Park Boys, but it's affected everything else. And it sucks that we had such a strong industry here developed, and just to have it ripped from under you was quite a fucking kick to the nuts.
Now, was that the doings of the new guy? I forgot his name, or was that something that had already kind of been in the works before?
I think, well, it was the Liberals that brought in the tax credit 20 years ago, and it was this new Liberal fellow that fucking cut it. So I don't know what his whole logic was behind it. I'm not too much into politics, but
right.
Yeah, I kind of followed that. I was down to the demonstrations and stuff, and I mean, they know that they fucked the industry, so hopefully, and of course you hear every little thing that, oh, well, they're doing this for the industry, which is good, but in the long run, it's still not going to be as beneficial as it was with the old structure in place.
No doubt. Fucking hate politics,
a lot of people are, a lot of people had to get up and move right to another province to pursue their work, and which affects everything here as well. So,
well, and I was watching the boys' latest podcast, as Julian calls it. They're going to start filming season 11 sometime soon. Any word on you going to be part of season 11?
Oh, yeah, I should be. Surely to God they'll have a part for Don or Donna.
Well, and a lot of people, man, from what I'm reading, a lot of fans are wanting to see the return of Don.
Yeah, I get that as well. Either way, I'll bring to either character as much as I can. So, either way, I'll be happy to continue to be a part of the show. But yeah, I think I kind of like the two-sidedness of season 8 with the character.
Absolutely, and for you especially, I mean, it definitely gave you an opportunity to hone your skills, and from season to season, I mean, I could see the change in your character and your skill, and you just got better and better, and I can't wait for season 10, dude. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I actually haven't seen any of it myself, right? I only know the few parts that I've been in. I can't really mention, but so every time a season is released, it's new for me too.
Nice. Well, I saw this picture floating around on Facebook of you sitting there with Snoop Dogg, and I know you can't say much about the season because you don't know much, but how close? Can you tell us how close do Donna and Snoop get? Do they get close?
Not really.
No? Okay.
No, I won't get into too much detail, but
I know. Just I had all these thoughts going through my head when I saw that picture, and I'm like, oh man, where's this one going?
Yeah, but you never know, right? I guess you have to wait and watch and see.
Oh, I can't fucking wait, man. Well, Vic, let me throw it back to you, bud.
Leigh, I mean, all the different things, experiences you've had doing Trippin With Leigh and the different drugs and everything. Have you ever run into a drug where you're like, I ain't fucking with that no more?
No, I can't say I have. But I mean, I try to keep it. I respect everything I do. So, I guess there's a couple times I went overboard, which is something I'll never do again. So, but I mean, the whole, I changed over the years too. So
right.
Now I'm 41. I can't be doing stuff I was doing when I was 20, right?
Right.
But I still, so I kind of focused in on what I'm doing now and just bringing light on the benefits of it. And I mean, it can be bad. It's not for everybody. So, ayahuasca, stuff I did in Peru, it's a very powerful, very, very powerful medicine. And it commands a lot of respect, I think. And I don't think, everyone that does it, I don't think can handle it. But if you go in, with a positive outlook or with the intention of good will come of it.
Right.
So I think you have to.
Do you have any advice for people that are aspiring to experiment with these different kinds of drugs? Do you have any advice for them?
Oh, make sure you have some idea what you're doing. Just don't be eating anything, and don't go. Like you mentioned earlier with pills and stuff. It's
right.
Some of this stuff is highly addictive. They're designed to get people hooked, so they keep spending their money. So you gotta watch what you're doing, and it's you gotta look at everything the same. You should do your research and make sure it's something for you. And as far as experimenting, I can't really condone it because I've done so much of it over the years.
Right.
But just watch what you're doing. It's a lot of people slip up, and I think it's important to stay grounded if you're going to be experimenting with anything.
Or you might find yourselves, 60 foot up a maple tree, not being able to figure out how to get down. Yeah. Even though I was still somewhat mentally grounded, just not physically. No doubt, man.
Yeah.
Well, Leigh,
that was something else.
Since I mentioned it, it was just a short clip of a video I saw where you were describing a mushroom trip one night, and you ended up a maple tree. And for our listeners that don't know the story, could you tell it to them?
Yeah, so me and some friends went out by this old place we call the Tree. It was basically a big farmer's field with this big giant maple tree we used to go and park by, catch a buzz on. And one night it was in the fall, so we had picked a bunch of mushrooms and made up some tea, and it just kind of, the onset was just kind of starting. But I was like, holy fuck, for some reason I thought it might be a good idea to climb up this tree and get a better look, an overview of everything, the nature, I guess you call it. Yeah, the lay of the land. Well, I got up there and started getting dark to the point where I couldn't get down. So it was funny because I could hear everybody down below looking for me, and I was trying to holler down to them, but they couldn't hear me because, of course, I was that high up. Sound travels up, right? It doesn't travel down.
Right. So
they were like, where the fuck did Leigh go? Finally, a friend of mine, Murph, he finally heard me, and he's like, holy, hey, are you up there? Yeah, man, I'm fucking stuck up the tree. I can't get down. So he climbed up. It was underneath me, directed my feet to the bottom branches, and we got down and we laid in the grass. Like, by this time we were really fucking starting to trip, right? Drank a good cup of tea, and I forget what I said. I said something like, so it was, you know, wind stuff, full moon, starry night. I was like, what did I say? Something like, imagine yourself just suspended here. There's nothing underneath us, nothing above us. He jumps up. He's like, holy fuck, Leigh, why'd you have to say that? He tripped, and we just walked around the outside of the field for a good 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, we were out that night, all night.
Fuck yeah. You know, you had mentioned as you're getting older, you know, you don't do a lot of the things that you used to do back in your 20s. And I just turned 40 back in October, and I'm in that same boat. Once a year, we have a big music festival here called Summer Camp, and that's the one time of the year where I will, partake in the hallucinogens and let myself go for the weekend. And I think at my age, for me, that's about all I need. Just that once a year release, get in touch, and that's about all I need these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm probably going to keep it based around the documentary. I mean, it's usually 2 or 3 times a year for me.
Right.
These days. Yeah.
For sure. Well,
in Peru, it was... What's that?
Well, you mentioned Peru. I was just going to ask, earlier we were talking about the ayahuasca, and I've had a few friends that have gone down there and experienced it, and every time I ask them, can you describe it to me, what was it like, they really don't have words. I mean, is it that intense that there's really just no word to describe it?
Well, if I had one word to describe it, it would be divine, I guess. I really let loose. I really let go. And it's just like when you do something that powerful, it does connect you to another. If you look at it in a physical sense, everything around us is energy. There's protons, there's neutrons, and everything.
Yep.
And because of our genetic makeup, we're only designed to see one wavelength of energy, right? But you do something like that, and it opens up something in your mind that you see other realms, other beings. It's mind blowing. Yeah, it was very powerful, and I guess after having experienced something like that, I understand what shaman means more, as far as a person connecting with another spirit world, because you're introduced to that, and you realize that you don't need institutional designed forms of input into your life. I don't condone that. I went to church and stuff as well growing up, but it gives you it makes you realize that you have a direct connection to the universe and your spirit, and I guess what people look at as God.
Right. Have you
if I could say it in words, that would be as deep as I'll go.
Have you? Yeah. Have you ever used MDMA?
I have. It's not my cup of tea, really.
The reason I ask, I've never done it myself, and a lot of my friends who have, they tell me, look, you got to at least do it once. And just be careful, don't do too much, the first time around. I just hear from people that, it kind of would do something similar. It just opens your mind, and you can kind of see in a whole different way. And I think, there's parts of our brain, and this is just my own weird view, but I really think that through the years, man, us as humans, and the power of our brains, we've been so dumbed down. Like they say we only use 10% of our brain. Well, fuck, who's to say, 500 years ago they weren't using 80 or 90 or 100 of it. And just, imagine the things that you might be able to do if you were to be able to unlock these other parts of your mind.
Yeah, and then, then you become more creative, I find. In the MDMA sense, I found that was more of a physical rather than, it didn't give me a sense of, it was more of like but now I know they've been doing studies out in Western Canada with that to treat people with post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff. So I haven't really been following that whole thing lately, but I might look back into that, see how they're doing with it. And just, I know there are medical uses for it, and it used to be used back in the 50s before it was banned for something. Sure.
Psychotherapy, they used to use it a lot back in the 70s. Psychology.
Yeah, and then of course it just got into the mainstream and people abuse it, and it becomes stigmatized like a lot of other things, and people do too much of it, or it's cut, and they OD, and it just gets a bad rap, and everything good about it is pushed in the back burner, so to speak.
Well, Vic Nasty, let me throw it back to you, bud.
Leigh, you seem to have a musical family. I've seen your dad, playing the guitar and singing. Of course, your cousin Mike, was Bubbles on, the Trailer Park Boys, and he's quite musical too. Is that something that runs through your whole family? And, did you start it out real young?
I didn't start out really young myself, right? But I did grow up around music, and my brother drummed, and my other brother played guitar. I'm not sure why we never ever got something together, but I was always really shy growing up, so it took me a long time to be able to actually get up and sing in front of people. It wasn't until I was probably 28 that I actually got up and sang in front of people. So, but I was always, it does run in the family. I have a musical family and stuff, and I think that's important growing up, is to be, around all that, because it does open up it's a universal language, music.
Right.
Moves people, it changes moods. It's important, I think.
Well, Leigh, we only got maybe another 5 or 10 minutes with you. I don't want to suck up too much more of your Sunday night tonight. Do you have any other new projects, anything else new on the horizon that you might want to tell us about?
Right now I'm focused on Trippin With Leigh, but I'm working on some stuff, hopefully that's going to be coming out in SwearNet. I won't go into too much detail, but it will involve my character, so
cool.
I'm just trying to work out of course I've been sick for the last few weeks, but I have been writing for it, and hopefully you'll see some of that in the next month or two. And but yeah, right now I'm focused on Trippin With Leigh and these YouTube channels I'm going to have coming out and stuff.
Very nice.
So that's kind of like my main focus.
I tell you, I faithfully pay my $4.20 a month for my subscription to SwearNet, so I will definitely be looking for some new material from you, man. That's going to be exciting.
Right on. Yeah, it's going to be funny, I think, what's going to be coming down the pipe there. So
hell yeah.
I'll be back to SwearNet tomorrow to start working again. So. Well,
and can I ask? I mean, just like behind the scenes. I mean, we only see you guys, on camera. But when the cameras are off, I mean, are all you guys and all those guys, Mike and Rob and JP and all those guys? I mean, is it just as crazy when the cameras are off as when they're on? Or, I mean, is that definitely...
well, I mean, everybody's got families and stuff and responsibilities and are busy writing, working. So, I mean, you have to have some,
Someone to blow off steam.
Yeah, everybody likes to let loose once in a while.
Hell yeah. That makes makes it easy to get out of bed and go to work then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's probably the best place I've ever worked, swearing it.
Hell yeah. Well, listen, Vic, let me throw it back to you. You got any final questions or parting words for Leigh tonight?
Leigh, it's been great having y'all, man. It's been an honor. You know, one parting word that you can give everybody for season 10 of the Trailer Park Boys, what would you tell them?
Cock.
Cock.
Lots of cock.
No, yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good season, I think.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
I know when last weekend when I was over there watching Randy and Leahy, those guys said that season 10 is shaping up, probably going to be one of the best yet. So I'm super excited about that. But even more than that is the Trippin With Leigh. I'm really stoked that somebody, you know, is out there doing what you're doing and trying to show a more objective view instead of subjective crap that we've been brainwashed with for the last 200 years. So big thank you to you for that, man, and also to everybody that helped out.
Thank
all the
you,
listeners.
man.
Shit, man. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. I have a lot of people to thank.
Hell yeah! With this last minute or two that we got with you, man, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to let our listeners know how they can follow you, you know, how they can reach out, get in touch, or, you know, I mean, whatever you want to throw out there.
Yeah, just Google Trippin With Leigh, basically, Leigh. I got a site up now. It's www.trippinwithleigh.ca, and I'm on Facebook and stuff. And chuck me a message, and I usually try to get back to everyone. And it's been a pleasure, fellas. Thanks for having me on the show, and we'll have to do it again someday.
Oh, absolutely.
And promote that way. I'll definitely we'll get together for a buzz on.
Hell yes, my man. Hell yes. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And I think it's just ending with this. I think it's really important for people to have an open mind as far as natural medicines, and I know people that are using them for cluster headaches, Tom there, and there's just so much research, new stuff being taken into consideration. So thanks again, guys.
Thank you very much for taking the time. For myself, Vic, and everybody listening tonight, thanks again, Leigh. You take care of yourself, brother. Get well, heal up, and we'll be in touch soon, man.
Right on. Cheers, fellas. Good night.
Later. Good night, bud.
Never